40 nations, 13 days, and the total dismantling of the American era. This morning, a single document was signed by 40 different governments, effectively ending the period of U.S. global supremacy. What makes this truly chilling is that Washington was entirely in the dark until the ink was already dry. Welcome to the secret history of currencies, where we peel back the curtain on the events, shifting the very foundations of your world. Think about the scale of this. This isn't just a few disgruntled neighbors or a handful of minor states issuing a symbolic complaint at the UN. We are talking about 40 sovereign powers. Together, they represent a staggering $58 trillion in economic production. They control over half of the entire planet's trade flow. These are America's closest intelligence partners and its most vital trading allies. The very pillars of a security system the U.S. spent 80 years and trillions of dollars to maintain, 40 of them perfectly aligned and committed to a new path. Washington found out the same way you find out about a deal made behind your back. After it was already settled and irreversible, the official notification reached the Canadian Embassy in D.C. at 6:47 a.m. today. By 9:00 a.m., the coalition had expanded. Every single continent, excluding Antarctica, has a seat at this table. The UK, France, Japan, Germany, and the entire European Union, all of them are now formally united. This isn't a collection of rumors or leaked memos. This is a signed pact with a hard deadline and massive consequences. There are 13 days left. March 18th isn't a request. It's a countdown on a live explosive. The architect of this silent coup is Mark Carney, as a former central banker. He is a man who knows how to move the world's wealth without making a sound. He understands that the deadliest economic strikes are the ones that land before the target even realizes the safety is off. The White House was blindsided. That's not an opinion. It's the internal reality coming from the heart of the administration. The language of this diplomatic note is precise. It doesn't ask for a favor or appeal to old friendships. It simply states that 40 nations fully back the 5 demands laid out by Canada on March 4th. They call this the minimum basis for a functional relationship. In diplomatic terms, minimum means this is the floor, the absolute baseline. If the U.S. doesn't comply by March 18th, the coalition activates 4 specific triggers designed to systematically uncouple the American economy from the rest of the world. The first trigger is trade. These 40 nations have pledged to give Canada preferential access. This means lower taxes and faster border crossings for Canadian goods, while American products face new hurdles. Global trade doesn't just drift, it breaks. Suddenly, Canadian exports become cheaper and more efficient than American ones in every major market from Europe to Asia. The U.S. doesn't just lose one partner, it loses its edge everywhere at once. At the Secret History of Currencies, we track these shifts because when the competitive landscape snaps, it changes who wins and who loses for decades. The second trigger involves the lifeblood of the modern world: energy. These nations aren't just thinking about buying Canadian energy. They have signed contracts worth $180 billion annually. That is more than the total value of energy Canada currently sends to the United States. Canada can now flip the switch, sending its oil and power to new buyers who have already paid a premium, leaving the U.S. staring at a massive hole in its supply chain. The third trigger is the financial shield. All 40 nations have agreed to trade in Canadian dollars and provide a $15 trillion safety net. This is the ultimate counter move. For a century, Washington